When you get close to these sun bears, it's easy to see why people around the world think them cute. Undeniably attracted to watch as they play and experiment in the safety of the rescue centre. Their teddy bear looks is part of the reason why so many are torn from their mothers in the jungle as cubs and caged in homes across the continent. Wildlife trading is another.
A major part of that trade is here in Asia, because there's a lot of species that are sought commercially around the world are found here, whether it's rare cats or turtles, snakes, even rare animals and plants. Also because part of the market, a big part of the market for those same things is found here in Asia. So it's a constant trade. Like anything else, like drugs or anything, the commodity, so to speak, goes to the rich country where the demand is, and the trade moves through areas where law enforcement is weak. So we're here in Cambodia, you've got rich wildlife resources. You're next to Vietnam, which can move the wildlife into the #1 consuming country in the region, which is China. So there's a lot of pressure here in Cambodia. You have to look at it in that, in sort of the economic way to understand what's going on. There was a tip-off about a trader outside of Bangkok who owned a virtual slaughterhouse. This guy was pretty typical of some other wildlife traders in the region. What he did was he put out a call for the various species that he wanted to sell to local restaurants and then to sell outside the country. What you have in Thailand is a lot of Asian tourists. And part of their holiday, whether they go to the beach or the casino or whatever, is also to stop off to an illegal restaurant off the back road and eat bear paw or other things that they couldn't get back home or they certainly couldn't afford.
These animals were rescued by Wild Aid from the illegal restaurant trade which thrives in Thailand. Thankfully, the restaurant trade in Cambodia is dying out. Government-backed radio campaigns and huge billboards have resulted in the virtual disappearance of bear from Phnom Penh menus. So, this is a story of success as well as destruction, of hope as well as despair. The Khmer people have lived in Cambodia for millennia. Their society stretches back to when the Egyptian civilization was flourishing in the west. But the flowering of their culture came in the Angkor period. For 600 years they blossomed from 800 AD to just 600 years ago. During that time, the famous Angkor Wat and scores of other temples were built as the capital of their nation. Angkor Wat Temple is large, but the whole complex covers an enormous 77 square miles, a colossal monument to power and belief. But sadly, there is a more recent reason why the world remembers Cambodia. The killing fields, the slaughterhouse of Pol Pot and his followers. This is Tul Sleng, Pol Pot's infamous interrogation centre in Phnom Penh. Thousands screamed for mercy from the torturers here, but found none. Ironically, it was a school before its teachers were murdered and its classrooms given over to the demons of pain and terror. But this map is not from a geography lesson. It's the blueprint for tearing a nation apart and shifting whole populations from the comfort of their homes to forced labour in the countryside. pictures of the slain. Pol Pot's people photographed every victim, before or after death. Some survived the torture, only to end their lives here at Chiang Ek, better known to the rest of the world as the Killing Fields. Here, in 1980, nearly 9,000 bodies were unearthed from these mass graves. The graves remain empty now and somehow out of place, as chickens scratch and peck and children reach out for a tourist dollar, oblivious to the horror of the place. In other such memorials in other parts of the world, only the implements of death are evident. Here, though, the victims themselves remain, their skulls stacked 15 levels high in a memorial, catalogued only by age. And all this within the lifetime of most Cambodians. If a people can inflict such destruction on their own, how difficult is it to convince them that animals are worth conserving? Violent death is commonplace here. Political assassination and murder are regular occurrences. The law is a flexible feast and applied or not according to the influence of the offender. And that applies as much to wildlife poaching and trading as it does to human violation.